I put a post earlier that said I would be going live later on at about 9:45. However, I still wanted to check in so that you guys would see why I'm running late. And it's because I'm still actually on the road. So I figured I would go ahead and tune in with you guys for day 25. Day 25 of 30 for the Boss Up Challenge. And tonight's topic is going to be about when to throw in the towel, when to call it quits. Hey, when to call it quits. I'll go ahead and keep talking for as long as it's safe. But hopefully everything is going to be fine with me driving and doing this. And hopefully you all can hear over my engine. So, but I still want to keep my same format. So first, I want to thank anybody that is giving this broadcast an opportunity. If you're a first-time watcher, this is Business Builder Basics. This is the Boss Up Challenge, and you tune in with me each evening at 9 p.m. for 30 days, and we go over all of the issues around being a boss when you're trying to start a small business and attain financial freedom. I want to thank everyone who has been hanging in there with me, like Derek and Shawnita, LeSean, Naomi, Madge. I mean, I see a lot, and I'm sorry if I'm leaving anyone out, because I know there have been a lot of people who have actually been tuning in, but thank you so much for hanging in there, and I hope that you're really getting something from it. The acknowledgement for this evening is going to be Good Hope Tutoring Service. I actually have on one of their shirts with their logo right now. They actually are expanding right now, and that kind of leads to the opportunities portion of the program that I said we'll start doing the opportunities portion. The opportunities portion is to share like employment opportunities, people looking for partners, collaborators, investors, that type of thing. So Good Hope Tutoring Services, they are looking for tutors in all subjects, and they do adult learning as well. Alrighty, so Arisha Brown is the founder and owner of Good Hope Tutoring Service, and once I get stable, and if I can remember, I will put her information in there at the end of the broadcast. I actually have quite a bit of catching up to do with going back, looking over the videos, putting in people's information for you all to contact them if you're interested in their services. I don't want to forget, and I also have fallen behind on uploading the videos to YouTube because for some reason I have not figured out how to do it on my new device. I have to actually go to my laptop and do it that way. So, but anyway, the goal check-in is easy because last night we didn't set a goal because we had so much fun talking about bosses need love too, and the life of a boss when it comes to romance and all that good stuff. So we talked about that, and I didn't set a goal. So hopefully you all set your own goal last night and you were able to meet it. Now I'm about to go through an area that's kind of shaky. If I lose reception, I'll make sure I tune back in as soon as I get it back. But so tonight's topic, when to throw in the towel, when to call it quits with the business that you're pursuing, or maybe not even the whole business, maybe just an approach, a strategy that you've been using, expectations that you've had. When do you know when to switch gears and when to say enough is enough of this particular thing? When you're talking about a business, that can be really difficult depending on how much you put in, how much time you spent with it, how much you sacrificed. If you've ever seen any growth or if you've ever seen any profit, you know, it can be very difficult to figure out, you know, is this thing really worth it? this is why I was recommending, when we were doing the financials the other day, I thought it was a good idea to do your financials first. Do your startup costs and your monthly budget projections, and see if the business looks like it may do what you want it to do. If you do that on the front end and you're diligent with it and you take your time and make sure you're accurate, then you may be able to save yourself a lot of heartache, blood, sweat, tears, money, and all that good stuff. But let's just say you decided to move forward with this business and you've been doing it, and it starts to cross your mind that this may not be what you're looking for. Well, some of the ways that you'll know when it's time to throw in the towel for the business that you're doing is if you are feeling depleted on a constant basis. It is unyielding, and not the type of depletion that you feel when you're like really exhausted because you're working hard for your business and you're grinding and it's growing, but a depletion of your spirit. Okay, not so much your physical energy, but a depletion of your spirit. If every time you walk into the building or every time you start engaging in the activity that is required to make your business run, if you are feeling depleted, you need to really consider if that's something you should continue with. Because although a business is hard work, getting it off the ground and maybe maintaining it, anything that depletes your spirit has to go. Okay? Because you're not going to be at your best, and if you're not at your best, how is your business going to be at its best? Right? You can't be depleted. If you're the boss, you're the leader, you have to make sure that you're able to maintain a certain amount of positive energy and be able to keep the morale of others up around you. I think this might be the area where we're running into trouble. But anyway, you have to definitely protect your morale and those of the people that are working with you. Even if your morale is extremely low, fake it till you make it, until you really can decide and be definitive about whether or not you're going to continue. One of the mistakes that I made when it came to the decision to shut down some of the businesses that I operate, whether or not to shut them down, I basically ran my mouth about it just non-stop to anybody who would listen, whether it was a customer, not as often with customers, maybe just the ones that I had a good rapport with, but employees, customers, family, friends, shareholders, just really constantly talking about, oh, I'm not going to be able to do this. I'm ready to just shut it all down. And that kind of talk, you have to be careful, because when you plant that seed, it makes other people kind of feel like they're ready to they need to start lining up some options or looking elsewhere, basically, for an opportunity. The role that a leader has, the role of a boss, is so important. Your energy becomes the energy of your company, basically, especially when it's negative energy. Now, you can be a very positive person and your company still have a lot of negativity in it if you have a lot of employees and people that really don't, they don't see your mission, they don't believe in what it is you're trying to do. But if you are negative, then for sure your company is going to reflect that negativity. So threats, venting, complaining a lot about it is really not the best way to handle it. Find somebody that you trust. Find somebody who has a wealth consciousness, who has a business mind, who has a good degree of common sense, and have those conversations with people like that. But don't do it like repeatedly and constantly talk about it and never make any changes or never take any action, that's very aggravating to people. What you need to do is do your pros and cons list. You need to look at your why. Remember on like day one or one of those videos very early on, I said before you get into business, when you're choosing a business that you're doing and you're like, I'm going to get into business for myself, what is your why? What is your why? And you need to know your whys up front, because your whys are going to dictate a lot of your behavior and the way that you handle a lot of things, right? Your whys they can change, but usually the foundation of why you decided to go into business for yourself, your why is important. So now that you're thinking about whether or not you want to do the business at all, think about why you started to begin with. If your motivation was to really capitalize on your effort by getting a return on your investment through money, and you're not making money, that's a pretty clear indication that something needs to change. Now, mind you, there may be other things you can do to make your business make money, or you may be doing some things wrong, or could be doing some things better that would make your business make money, right? So before you throw in the towel, make sure that you've done everything that you can do. But let's just say you've done everything you feel you can do, and this industry just is not what you thought it was going to be financially. Then that would be a compelling reason to decide to get out. If your why had to do with community service, helping people, employing people in the community, getting your properties paid for, those kind of things, then now you have to look and see, is that happening? Or is your business having an impact in the community that you wanted to, that you thought it would? Is your business doing what it said it would do as far as your business philosophy and your mission statement? Are those things happening? Like, for instance, if you're in childcare like me, or assisted living, and you got into the industry with a mind to provide excellent services, and now you kind of feel like, well, maybe we're like falling short. Maybe we're failing our customers. Maybe we're not, doing a good job. And you start to feel that way consistently. You feel like no matter what you try to do, no matter what your recruiting process is or what things you try to do to make your place look nice, just whatever, how much training you give your staff. If you feel like your services and your quality is not what you told the community you were going to do, that might be a reason to get out of it. Okay? Depends on how important that is to you. Now, I must admit, for me, money and those community issues were my whys. And because I did not always meet the financial goals or the quality goals that I had in mind, I often felt like I wanted to, get out of it. And so, it can be a very difficult decision. Let's see, other things you might, another why. Let's say it was a business, a family business that was handed down to you, right? Family business handed down to you. Maybe you're like third generation, right? And this thing just kind of becomes like your family just looks at it like it's just understood you're going to take over this business, right? And you're just not really feeling it. That's really not what you wanted to do. You've always had other dreams, other desires, but you don't want to let your family down. And so you decide to step up, take over the company, run the company, and you're miserable. It's not really what you want to do. Believe it or not, that could be a reason to not do it anymore. So there could be a number of reasons to make you consider why you would stop doing something. If it's something that is very physically taxing, right? If it's like a high energy type of business where you really have to do a lot of manual labor or have like brute strength to do certain things like construction trade or things like that, then you might feel like you're getting older, or that you feel like you can't picture yourself continuing to do that 10 years from now, 20 years from now. Like you feel like even if you would want to, you would be unable to, right? So you have to consider that. There are a lot of things that you have to consider when you're thinking about closing your business down or giving it away or whatever. Okay, so let's just say whatever your reasoning is, you did your pros and your cons, you thought all of it through, and you come to the conclusion that you do not want to really have a part in it anymore, or you're ready to just shut it down. What I would suggest is that you can make peace with yourself, and it can kind of be like not an all or nothing kind of thing. Try to get creative and figure out a way to possibly find somebody who would like to do that business. Maybe they're younger, maybe they're not burnt out, maybe they're refreshed and eager. Maybe you've been doing it for 20 years and you're through. Maybe you're ready to get to the next level, and now there's somebody else that they're ready for their come up, and it would be perfect for them. But for you, it may be beyond, what you feel you should be doing at this point. Maybe you feel your earning potential is higher. Try to find someone, to give an opportunity to, right? To take over your business, to either collaborate, like for instance, like what I did with the daycare is a perfect example. Find someone who's eager to get into that industry. You have everything you've already put into it, your equipment, the building, the use and occupancy permit, all those type of things, right? You have even a client base, you have your brand, you have your forms, your policies, your procedures, all those things in place, right? And so find someone that wants to come in and take those things over and jump right in. You don't have to do it anymore. Work out a deal with them where, you pretty much, it's like they're going to have their own business. You may still maintain a small part of it. Now you get to see the business live on, but yet you don't have to feel depleted in your spirit, by continuing to have to deal with that business. So, try to get creative with it if you can. It's not a lot of people out here that are just jumping for joy to run a business, believe it or not. You have a lot of people claiming they want to do business, claiming they want financial freedom, and their actions don't really match up. But if you do try hard enough, there are people out here that are just looking for an opportunity. They're looking at what you have as, oh gosh, you should feel blessed. Why would you want to give that up? There are a lot of people that would feel that way, and you'd be surprised. So one man's trash is another man's treasure. At least give someone an opportunity to pick up where you left off. If you can't do that, then you have to just be able to let go and shut it down with no regrets. You're just going to have to be able to do that. You know why you have to be able to do that? Because if you hang on to something that is not for you and that depletes your spirit, depletes your pocketbook, depletes the energy of your team, you're going to fizzle out. You're not going to get to the next level. If your objective was to get to the next level, you're probably not going to be successful with it because you're hanging on to a lot of dead weight. A bad business or business gone bad, a business gone rogue, it can be your worst nightmare, and it can consume so much of your mental energy and time that you don't have the creative spirit or the energy to look into other options and better options for yourself. But this is something that I have an issue with, and I will have to probably work on this issue for the rest of my life. It's been in me ever since I was a child. My parents will tell you. I have a hard time letting go of things. Okay? I have a hard time letting go of things. I don't know where it comes from, but there is something inside of me where it is almost painful to give up on something that you know at one point it was in your mind to succeed at that thing, to conquer it, to accomplish it, to be good at it, to make it work. That's like something that's a part of my personality, not just in business, but personal too. And although stick-to-itiveness and, determination and long-suffering has its place, in some situations where it can be a trait that leads to success, that also can be a downfall. You have to know when to let go. When to let go, because something just might not be for you. You can apply that to business, personal. If it's not for you, let it go. But people don't do it because there's a lot of fear. There's a lot of fear in letting go because you fear the unknown. But what you have to understand is that the unknown may be one of the best blessings you've ever received in your life. Right? You got to get past that fear first. You're holding on to this business that ties up all of your time, all of your energy. When are you going to have time to research and do the groundwork for a new industry or a new trade, a new skill, or to go back to school or whatever? When are you going to have time for that if you're depleted? You have to take risks. And remember, a part of being a boss is taking risks. You're going to have to be able to take a risk. And that means being able to live with, if I shut this business down, or if I don't do this business anymore, yes, I might lose X, Y, and Z, but I also